Pain, headaches, migraines, nausea, dizziness, symptoms. These are all very confusing for people when they're not sure about what's going on. But they all have something in common. It's really important to know this when you are looking to get treatment for it. Good morning, my name's Chris from the Headache and Pain Management Centre, and it is Tuesday morning. It's good to have you here for this Facebook Live video. If you are joining us, type in below and say hello, and yes, we can get stuck in. We're getting a few joining in. Good morning, say hello, tag yourself in here. I can only see the sort of number rather than the people, so yeah, type in below and say hi so that I can talk to you while I'm there. Hey, so when we're talking about chronic pain, headaches, migraines, weird neurological symptoms, dizziness, nausea, sweating, shivering, all of these weird symptoms that can come on, all of them have something in common, and here is the thing that they all have in common. So all of those things, firstly, are all sensory, okay? So they're all consciously experienced by you, okay? So you know when you're shivering, you know when you're in pain, you know when you are hot or cold or sweaty, or you're dizzy or nauseous. So you're consciously aware of these things. Good morning, Angela. It's nice to see you there. And basically what happens is that all of these conscious experiences that you have, right, are all threat detectors. They're all warning signs, they're all alarms, they're all things that are telling you in your body that something needs to change, okay? Now, here's the thing, it doesn't actually tell you what needs to change, it just tells you that something needs to change. Now, here's the thing that you might not even know about. Our bodies and our brains are always adjusting all of the time to the environment around us. So it's making little tweaks all the time to make sure that you stay pretty much at a level which is functional, okay? So when it gets hot, you automatically sweat, okay, to cool yourself down, to keep your temperature down. When you're in in the freezer at, when you've got the freezer open at the supermarket, for example, it gets a bit cold, so you might, get a bit of goosebumps or hair standing up. You might even shiver if you're in front of it for long enough, okay? And that's to get your brain and your nervous system firing up to actually keep your body warm. Good morning, there's more joining in. Type in below. I just said before, I can't actually see who it is watching, so do type in and say hi so I can talk to you. So yes, when you've actually got all of these things happening, they're the body's responses and the body's way of actually keeping you relatively normal and in state and in flow. Now, what we don't actually know, or most people don't know, is that our body's doing this all the time. So even at a subconscious level, our bodies are always adjusting, always changing to the environment, always taking information in from our surroundings and taking actions in order to keep things relatively good. Now, here's the thing when it comes to pain, nausea, dizziness, and so on. It actually reaches a conscious level when that happens. So your brain goes, whoa, okay, so something's changed enough for me to actually be aware of it now. So you should really change your behavior in order to get this all sorted out. Now, quite often this is really obvious, okay? And pain is one of these things which can be quite obvious when it's acute, okay? So if you're standing on a thumbtack or if you're on a hot road or something like that. Good morning, Lockie. Good to see you there, buddy. So when you're standing on a hot road, when you're, say for example, you've been a big night on the drink and you get a headache or, you're feeling dizziness or nausea the next day, obviously it's telling you that you need to either drink a bit more water, get a bit more rest, stop standing on the hot road, okay? So it's really obvious when you've got these things happening, you change your behavior, the threat goes away and you're back to normal again. You're not doing the thing that is causing your brain to go, hey, look, we're under threat. That's what's going on. However, this can actually, so it is all about threat detection and all about behavior change, but here's the deal. When you've actually got something for quite a long time, okay, like chronic pain or chronic headaches, chronic migraines, some people that have this, nausea or dizziness that's sort of there at an underlying level all the time, it's often difficult to know what it is that you need to do to change the environment or change what you're doing in order to get things all sorted out. Good morning, Bound. It's nice to see you there. So when you've got all this going on, basically you get confused. It's kind of like, well, look, I've got this headache, I've got this pain, but I'm not doing anything to cause it. What's going on here? Like, what's the story? Now, this is the thing that can happen with brains over a period of time, is that sometimes your brains can actually get tricked into thinking that there's something wrong when there's not. Or there's something that's a little bit wrong, but it's been cranked up to such a level that your brain goes, my God, this is the worst thing ever. Now, I must be very clear here, okay? So you've noticed that when I've talked about, goosebumps or shivering or your heart rate going up, these are things that you can't consciously control, okay? I can't just sit here and go, hey, time to sweat, and I start to sweat. That just doesn't happen, okay? Pain is another one of those things that just happens, okay? It happens as a response. It happens as a protective mechanism. So when this happens, okay, it's not in your conscious control. So when this happens, when it's chronic, when you've had it for quite a long time, it's actually become almost your autopilot. Your brain and your nervous system, without your permission, there's the camera, without your permission, is talking about doing this without your control, without your conscious control. So basically the user experience that you get is that you feel like crap, okay? You feel sick, you feel tired, you feel in a lot of pain, you can't function. And then basically your decision at your conscious level needs to be, well, what do I do about it? And so this is what leads people down a rabbit hole. These certain things, they look for triggers, they stop activity because, quite wisely, they think if I stop doing things, then maybe the pain will go away. So this isn't actually the case. It's actually counterintuitive. So when you've got pain for a long period of time or other symptoms that are there for a long period of time, quite often is actually your brain that's just overlying this message over and over and over again. It's just got very, very used to actually causing this message to happen. Good morning, Robin. It's nice to see you there. So when this message continues to happen, what the brain does, unfortunately, is it becomes more and more efficient at giving you this message or this pain message that's there. So people with chronic pain, as we know, okay, it doesn't start as chronic pain. It sort of starts with a bit of pain and then it just works up over time, over and over and over, until such point as it doesn't go away. And the reason why this happens is because it wasn't dealt with well at the very beginning. Okay, it wasn't dealt with in terms of movement and strength. It wasn't dealt very well in terms of what's actually causing it. And it wasn't dealt with very well in terms of how to actually treat it. And it becomes this entity upon itself, this really nasty snowballing effect, which can be really, really hard to get a handle on. Now, fortunately, there are things that you can do about it. Okay, there are things you can do about it. And the first thing is actually understanding how it all works, which is what this video is all about. So understanding that the symptoms that you get, so pain, nausea, dizziness, all of these things that can happen long term may not necessarily be as a result of something that you've done that day or even that week. It may actually be because your brain is now hypersensitive and it's taking everything as a warning, okay? It's taking everything as a threat. So basically your brain is cranking it right up. So what we need to do, if you like, is to desensitize the alarm. We need to take your brain sensitivity level down a bit, and there's heaps of ways that you can do that in order to actually keep living your life and actually be more confident and more certain and more clear about what's going on with your condition. So that's the first point, is understanding that this is something that happens not in your control. Okay, so if anyone's saying that you're making it up or it's all in your head, that's crap. That's not the way it works. It's your brain doing this as a result of a threat of some sort. And that threat can be physical, can be psychological, can be social, can be a combination of all three. So it's about working out why your body is doing this to you and actually working with someone who's able to explain this to you in order to get this right, okay? The second thing is actually is taking the fear and the anxiety away from movement and strength work. So actually getting things moving, getting things strong. Yes, it's very, very difficult at the beginning when you do have a lot of pain, because I know people actually come to me, like in the chair there's no one there at the moment, but when they're there, they're saying, hey, but when I move, things get worse. I mean, I don't want to make things worse. It's actually movement makes things better, but it could make your pain worse temporarily because your brain's trying to figure out where the level is that it can actually do things, okay? The same with headache and migraine. When you've got headache and migraine, quite often there is an issue at the top of the neck, which is sensitizing your system, and getting that moving and getting that strong is actually the thing to do, which is very, very helpful for a lot of patients that come to see us. So I hope that's been really helpful. So when you've got all of these symptoms that are there that aren't going away, they're sensory, they're conscious, and they're ways that your brain are trying to get you to change behavior to stop the bad thing from happening. The key thing is working out why it's there in the first place, and secondly, what you can do about it to reduce the level of threat that your brain and nervous system is actually experiencing. If that's actually resonating with you, type in below and say, hey, that's me, because that will tell me that I'm on the right track here. Because most people that do come in through the door have this chronicity there, that it's there for a long time, and they're out of their, they're out of their mind, they're at their wits' end about what's going on. And this is actually what's being caused by it. Hey, if this is you and you'd like some extra help with that, we are here. So type in below if there's a question or a comment or a message. Click on the links below as well if it is something that is interesting you. And yes, I'm hoping that has been very helpful, because hey, you're not crazy. It's not in your head, you're not making it up. This is your brain and your nervous system being a little bit overzealous, a little bit overprotective, and it just needs something to wind things down. If you do have any questions, please type in below. Tag anyone below who may find this interesting as well. Thank you for the love heart response too. I appreciate that. Hope that's been helpful, and I'll be back later in the week with another Facebook Live video. Please do keep following. Please keep inviting people to like the page, share and comment, because hey, this is what I love doing, educating the public about what this is all about, and just one patient at a time making a difference to this huge scourge, which is chronic headaches, chronic pain, chronic migraines, and all of the disability that comes with it. Thank you, Bound. I really appreciate your feedback, and please keep watching. I really do appreciate your support. Cheers, have a good day, and bye for now.